This is an HSA out-of-pocket calculator and sort of planner for investments. So what this allows you to do is you can look at age and gender, and this gives you the expected out-of-pocket cost for 1 year and then for 3 years and what that amounts to per month. So the data behind this is based on uh, large claim set, looking at out-of-pocket cost over both 1 year and the cumulative amount for 3 years. So this one number won't be exactly 3 times that because there's some mean reversion. Not everyone's going to have the same amount of use per year. So over 3 years, what this shows is with a 80% confidence interval, this is what you would expect for a 30-year-old male. So you can see if you change this to say female, females, especially in age-bearing years, have higher expenses. You could change it to 50 as a 50-year-old, what that would mean. But let's start with, say, a 25-year-old female. So a 25-year-old female could expect to have between $63 and $98 in out-of-pocket expenses on a typical plan. Now, if it's super high deductible, this will vary, and then this gives you the ranges here. And then for the investment information, sort of to think about nudging someone to investing an HSA and what that could do is, what I did is in this calculator, I essentially have what this number is times 2 to say, let's use half of that to cover your out-of-pocket expenses and half of it to invest. So your annual HSA contributions end up being $1,933. And if you put in 967, which, as you probably know, only about 5% of people invest their HSAs. That's something that's growing. It's gonna, as we get more saturation and growth into defined contribution healthcare, you'll see HSAs will be a greater part of people's strategies for investing, for the triple tax advantage, etc. I have in here also the long-term growth for HSA contributions. So if the 25-year-old starts out with about 1,000 and it grows at 3% a year over 40 years, what that would mean, and then assume 7% long-term. So this shows the total account value. According to Fidelity, a couple retiring now could expect to spend about 250,000. It could be depending on your health status, it could be less. So for an individual, call it 100, 150. So if you were to change this to say a 40-year-old, you'll see these things will update. A 40-year-old is going to retire in 25 years. So it's kind of a nice planner. It helps people visualize it. I think what happens with a lot of times with HSAs is they don't know how to use them properly. The investment menu is not there, or they just use it as a cash spending account. But one of the things here too is if you look at an employee, if you're an employee, you oftentimes have choice which plan to enroll in. So if this can help nudge you towards an HSA and kind of save for the future for some of those lumpy costs that you'll have in retirement, that could be a great net benefit.